Yeah. Yeah, awesome. Okay.
We like the lower windows, really?
All right. Have a seat. Dave would like to take a few shots.
Who was Molly Brant? It's so hard to know. 300 years. It was so long ago. It was so long ago. Back through history we go. Our past is a story. Like a river it flows.
Hello, friendly camera. Hi, I'm me. We're doing Gary
She
Rasberry.
was a
Bye-bye.
Mohawk woman, remembered today for the part in history that Molly Brant played. And history tells a story we'll try to understand. A history that is built on Indigenous land. Who is Molly Brant? Yeah.
Guys, look at this.
Part of our school.
Huge. Did someone paint this? Yeah.
Who is Molly Brant?
Mr. Pottery! It's the
Part of our
mural! Look how big it is!
She is part of our story, part of our past. She is part of our future. Her name it will last. So we are Molly Brant. And you can sing this part. We're part of this school. We're part of this school. We are Molly Brant. We are Molly Brant. We're part of the school. We're a part
So as it
of
turned
the
out,
school.
while I was there, the artist who did the mural was there. He was working on the mural, and his name is Shane Goudreau. And Shane is his name. And so I walked up to Shane, and first of all I said, that mural is awesome. That mural is amazing, because he did it with spray paint. He used spray paint cans to do an image of such beautiful, fine detail that I couldn't believe my eyes.
A lot of my mural work and that sort of thing I do has a lot to do with where I was born and raised, or some sort of historical meaning behind it. And I thought, well, being that this was one of the areas that she last lived, I thought that would be a great idea, as well as someone who hasn't really been very well exposed in history for the positive things that she's done. And the only difficult part is that there wasn't any real pictures of Molly. The only thing that exists, to my knowledge at this point, was the sculpture that resides just behind this wall here of her face.
So I knew very little about Molly Brant, and I still don't really know very much about Molly Brant, but I thought it would be a really kind of a neat project to explore Molly Brant. And in fact, what I thought what I would like to try to do with myself and with Dave, who's filming for us, I thought it would be really fun for us to go down to the mural, to go down to the park as a group, our class, and Dave would come, and we'd invite some other guests to come with us, some guests who know a lot more about Molly Brant than we do. And we would just try to make a little documentary. And does anyone here, how many people have heard the word documentary before? Thanks for your patience, everyone. This is what it's like in Hollywood. A lot of waiting. So that's kind of what we're thinking of doing, is creating a little documentary. what we also want to do is, if a documentary tells a story with information, part of the really important part of the documentary about Molly Brant is actually about Molly Brant Elementary. It's like, how did this school come to be? Well, we know the big story is that 2 schools became 1 school. And First Avenue and Frontenac both became Molly Brant Elementary. So what's that story all about? So we're good to go?
Almost.
Okay. So, do you ever watch those entertainment shows in Hollywood where they interview the actors to ask them how the movie was? Have you ever seen one of those?
I've seen one.
That's what it's going to be like. You're an actor, and I'm the Hollywood guy interviewing you. So, okay, but no smiling, okay, and no laughing. Okay, those are the 2 rules.
That's not a fair rule.
I'm not talking now.
No, you're not talking.
I know.
You can talk if you want. Because what if I ask you another question? You can't stay silent. When did you first hear that Frontenac School was going to close? Do you remember? I know you were pretty young.
In like just when the grade 3 started, we heard that it was about to close.
Okay. And how did you feel about when you heard that your school was closing? What kind of news was that for you?
It was pretty worrying because I had no idea where we were going to go until
Right.
I heard that Molly Brant was going to be built.
Okay. So when you pictured Molly Brant, did it look like this in your mind when you were in grade 3?
Not at all.
What did you picture? Do you remember that far? What it might be
Building about the size of Frontenac.
like? Okay. So is it bigger than what you expected?
Yeah, I didn't
Okay.
think there were going to be the rooms in between the
Right.
classes. And
Okay. And do you still have the same sort of friends from Frontenac
Yeah.
that you have now at Molly Brant?
yeah,
Have you made new friends at Molly Brant from First
Yes.
Avenue people? Okay. Question, how about you, Sabrina? Did you have some of the same friends from First Avenue?
Yes.
And do you have new friends who were Frontenac?
Yes.
So question for both of you. Do you still think of yourself as First Avenue and Frontenac students, or do you think of yourself as Molly Brant students?
I still think I'm Frontenac, but like Molly Brant too, so like in
Okay.
between.
So this is your second year at Molly Brant, so you're still
Yeah.
getting used to it? How about
Yeah.
you? Do you think of yourself as a Molly Brant student or a First Avenue student?
Molly Brant student.
Okay, interesting. We might also want to talk to some Indigenous people, because Molly Brant was an Indigenous woman. And we would like to talk to some Indigenous people to find out what they know and understand about Molly Brant. So I just met Kate Brandt, who tells me that she found out recently that she is a descendant of Molly Brant.
Gumochi, Sayani, Digona, Wadonti. So she had a great task to perform because she lived in both worlds. Having married a non-native person,
Right.
she had to live in both those worlds. So she was one of the first women to create that big relationship that was going to start. Although women weren't recognized so much then, but you can see it now when you look back.
Okay.
How important that was for Canada.
What I did, and I did this last week, is after I saw the mural, and I thought, okay, Gary, you're coming to Molly Brant Elementary, and you're going to be visiting this classroom, Mr. Pottery's classroom. You don't know the students. You've probably met them before, and they might know you. And we're going to talk about Molly Brant. So we tell them what you know about Molly Brant. Well, here's what I know about Molly Brant. Not much. So I wrote, who was Molly Brant? That was my question to help me start the song. And here's what happens. I started to write down, I wrote, who was Molly Brant? And I answered, it's so hard to know. Who was Molly Brant? It was so long ago. How many years ago was it? 300 years ago.
Anytime we do music, if you listen, there is going to be an underlying rhythm or bass rhythm that you're going to use. When we use drums, it helps provide that bass rhythm. And then other things can come in with it, like a guitar or a flute or any other musical instruments, and they can add to it. So music is a universal language. And that's why when we do drumming and we sing, we consider it a form of prayer, because we're using the breath of life that the Creator gave us to rejoice. And so it goes to the Creator and He hears it as a prayer.
Well, I think in terms of the music especially, right? And, you know, unfortunately I feel like as students get older and as they mature, sometimes their interest in song and music dwindles a little bit. And maybe they're too cool for, you know, singing in the classroom and stuff like that.
Blues.
Yeah, for the name rhyming blues,
Right.
exactly.
Right.
But as you know, as we just noticed, it's not true, right? And
never
the
too
adults
cool.
jump in, and you know, it gives me an opportunity to model that because I, you know, love singing songs and love participating in that kind of stuff.
Right.
And I feel like, you know, from the very beginning, if we think back, I mean, things have changed a lot, right? They were definitely a little bit shy about opening up and getting into the music. But towards the end, they were all over it and really I feel like got a lot out of the music side of things, especially, but also through the, you know, the conversation that we had around, you know, our school's namesake, Molly Brant.
Right. Yeah.
So I
Okay.
really appreciate that.
Great. Thank you. And thank
Gary.
goodness Ash was here. You know, that's the main thing.
She's pretty awesome.
So, okay. Thanks.
So this is really special for us because we're one, if not the only school in the Lionstone District School Board that's named after a woman. And she wasn't just a woman, she was an Indigenous person. How many schools do you think are named after Indigenous women? We could be like one of 2 schools with a female Indigenous name.
In Canada.
So you guys are part of history. You can say, I was one of the first students at this school that was named after a famous Indigenous woman.
Okay. So quiet on the set now. Ready? Here we go. So, take 2.
I think this project is the start of a bigger conversation. I think it's the start of a conversation around the importance of the Indigenous story in our community, and also the importance of naming a school, something like Molly Brant, and what that means for kids and communities. And so this is the start of our kids exploring the importance of that and realizing that the selection of that name actually is pretty profound in their own story of our community, but also in the story of the Indigenous people in our community.
Akwe Manitou Nindishnakas, Makwadu Dam Napani Undayon. I am Anishinaabe Kwe, and along with the Haudenosaunee and Anishinaabe people, I welcome you to this gathering. We all have spirits that walk with us. They're our helpers. They're the ones who remind us of who we are and the things that we need to do. And so when we sound the drum like this, all of those spirits perk up their ears and they say something's going to happen. And they know the sound of the drum. So they get ready too, to be our helpers.
Molly Brant? Who was Molly Brant? Who was Molly Brant? It's so hard to know. Almost 300 years. It was so long ago. It was so long ago. Back through history we go. Our past is a story. Like a river it flows. It was so long ago, but not so far away. She lived on the shore where we're standing today. Who was Molly Brant? Who was Molly Brant? She was a Mohawk woman we remember today for the part in history that Molly Brant played. History tells a story we'll try to understand. A history that is built on Indigenous land. Who is Molly Brant? Who is Molly Brant? Who is Molly Brant? She is part of our school. are Molly Brant, we are part of this school. We are Molly Brant, we are part of this school. We are Molly Brant. We are Molly Brant. We are Molly Brant.
What this has captured for us and what it will do for our community is give us a sense of where we are right now, because we have big hopes for our school, right? And so that notion of anything is possible is not a t-shirt slogan, it's a belief statement. It's what we believe about our kids. And so having a moment where we share that and it captures that belief in video form is something that we'll share broadly with our school community and with the Indigenous community, because they were our partners as well.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. And I want to also say that's a wrap. Okay.
Yeah.
Anything is possible, anything at all. If I believe and you believe, then we can do it all. Anything is possible, just you wait and see. Anything is possible, it starts with you and me. Right here, right now. We will show you how. Right here, right now. We will show you how. Someone says impossible, someone says no way. Someone else is full of doubt every single day. But we can make a window where there used to be a wall. Anything is possible, anything at all. Anything at all. We are 10 feet tall. Anything at all. We are 10 feet tall. Anything is possible, just you wait and see. Anything is possible, it starts with you and me. Anything is possible, just you wait and see. Anything is possible. Woo! Nicely done, everyone. Nicely done.
Chimigwich, Gichimanitou. Ikwe Manitou Indigenous, Makwadudan, Napani Undayan. We thank you, great Creator, for this day that you've made. We thank you for the wind that blows. We thank you for the sun and the sky and the moon and all the things that you've created. Thank you for watching over us. Aho. Aho. Miigwech.